All right, what's up, guys, and welcome to Wildcard Sports. Welcome to my channel. We're going to get the podcast going again, talking about different sports topics. I'm obviously a 49er fan. I'm going to get into that Super Bowl loss. I'm a Giants fan. I'm a Kings fan. And I'm also just going to be talking NBA throughout the season, MLB, and talking NFL a lot. I love the NFL, so that's always going to be in the mix. There's also going to be fan questions. So you guys submit those in the comments. Wherever you're watching this, submit the questions. You could even hit me up on Instagram at Wildcard Sports. You could DM me. I'm going to answer your guys' questions on the podcast. And we got a few questions today I'll answer. But going into this podcast, I wanted to start out talking about the 49ers loss in the Super Bowl. Like I said before, I'm a big 49er fan. This one hurt a lot for me. It was really tough to take in. We played so well that whole game. We had mistakes for sure that ended up biting us towards the end. You could blame Kyle Shanahan. A lot of that blame will be going towards Kyle Shanahan, and I blame him myself. I'm not saying the whole Super Bowl is to blame on him. There were that muff punt killed us. That blocked field goal or that blocked extra point killed us. There's a lot of little things. They missed blocking assignments. They called probably the wrong plays at certain times. We threw when we should have ran. So a lot of different things the Niners could have done differently to get that win and get that monkey off our back. Maybe off Kyle Shanahan's back more, man. He can't get a Super Bowl win. And the Niners are just stuck in a rut. It's a good rut to be in, I guess, because we are making the Super Bowl. We are in the Super Bowl. So I can't complain too much. There's a lot of teams that have not even made it to the Super Bowl in like 20 plus years. So we're in a good spot. We have great players. We're going to be great next year. But that's what I want to talk about, the future for the 49ers. Last time we played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, it was 2020. We lost that game, obviously. But that next season, we didn't do so well because what it does is losing the Super Bowl drains you not only physically, it drains you mentally. Like, I bet you the 49er players right now can't even think about next year right now. They can't even think about OTAs. They don't want to think about that at all because they're, one, devastated over this loss. They literally gave it their all season long. They put in the work all season long. And for them to lose, come up short again is so mentally draining. It's mentally draining for the fans. For me, for 49er fans, it's mentally draining. I can't imagine what it's like for the players because they're literally putting in the work. So will the Niners continue their successes next season? You would think so because we have a lot of the same players. I truly believe in Brock Purdy. I think he's a great quarterback and only going to get better. I mean, the things he's accomplished in his second year at quarterback is pretty amazing. If it was any other quarterback, we would say it's astonishing. It's amazing. If it was any other pick in the draft. Like, imagine if Caleb Williams got drafted, and in his second year, he's already made it to 2 NFC Championship games and a Super Bowl. People would be praising Caleb Williams to the moon and back, saying he's the most amazing pick in the past, 10 years or something, and they'll probably be like, oh, he's going to be chasing Mahomes. That's if Caleb Williams was doing what Brock Purdy has been doing in these 2 years. But, of course, Brock Purdy's not going to get the same respect. Doesn't make sense, but hey, there's going to be haters. There's always going to be haters. So moving on, the future for the 49ers, we got the draft coming up in April, and the 49ers have 11 picks in this draft, which is a ton. So that is great. So we could start building for the future. I'm not saying, it's a rebuild whatsoever. It's not a rebuild. But I think we could get rid of some guys that we don't necessarily need to sign. Like Gregory is under contract, and he will need to be signed next year. He could leave us. He'll be a free agent. I don't think we need to keep Gregory. I think we draft D lineman. But our biggest needs are offensive line. And maybe even corner, and to fill the spot for Gregory. We need more defensive guys that could come in and do work right away for us and continue to impress the fans, like, did you guys see Jair Brown? He was dominating in the Super Bowl. He got a pick in the Super Bowl. He's a rookie, and he filled in for Hufanga and got a pick. That's another thing. We got Hufanga coming in next year, healthy, and should be good to go. And that loss, not to mention, losing Greenlaw was such a blow to everybody, the Niners especially, the Niners defense especially. It was so hard to see, and just the fact that he blew his Achilles running onto the field. He blew his Achilles and out for the Super Bowl. If it happened in the fourth quarter, that's one thing. It sucks, but at least it happened towards the end of the game. But no, it happened in like the first quarter of the game. It was pretty devastating. So that's another thing. Will Greenlaw come back healthy? We have him for, I think 1 or 2 more years. But he's going to come back ready to go for next season. But how much spring will he have coming off an Achilles injury? That could be pretty tough for a linebacker because they got to have some speed and quickness. An Achilles for a linebacker, that could be tough. I don't know how that can be, but I know Dre Greenlaw is a dog, and he'll be coming back fighting. Another big thing for the 49ers, we got to sign Brandon Ayuk. That's Brock Purdy's favorite target, as we know. Purdy and Ayuk have some sort of magical connection that's working, so why get rid of that? But we got to pay Ayuk a lot of money, and he deserves it for sure. But can the 49ers pay him that money? I don't know. I don't know how they're going to figure it out. I'm sure if Ayuk goes to a different team, he is going to get paid bank. So a lot of other teams can afford him and can afford to pay him a lot of money. So does he want to stay with the 49ers knowing that we can possibly get to an NFC championship, get to a Super Bowl, and he already knows he plays well with Brock Purdy? Or will Ayuk just go to a new team and be like, hey, I'm going to go to the bank and get that bag, get millions of dollars, and I don't know, maybe not win, but he'll get paid. So it depends on what Ayuk wants to do. I'm sure he's going to hold out, which sucks, but it should be interesting to see what Brandon Ayuk decides to do or what the 49ers decide to do with Ayuk. But that's all I want to say about the Niners. It was devastating. It hurt a lot. I'm filming this on Tuesday after the Super Bowl. It still hurts. Monday was even worse, but it takes time to get over. It's not fun losing the Super Bowl, but hey, congrats to the Chiefs, congrats to Mahomes. Mahomes is Mahomes. We could have stopped him, but he found a way to win. And congrats to the Chiefs, back-to-back Super Bowl champs. Hopefully they don't get back next year. All right, moving on. We're going to talk a little NBA action because all my focus was on NFL season and the 49ers because it was such an intense season and a fun season for me and the Niners. I'm a Sacramento Kings fan, which some of you guys know, some of you guys don't. Kings have been going through the biggest rut ever, like 20 years without making the playoffs. They finally made the playoffs last year, and we lost to the Warriors, and that hurt too. So will the Kings make the playoffs again? I do believe so. Right now we are in the 7th seed. And if you guys have any teams you want me to talk about, I know a lot of you guys aren't probably Kings fans, but if you want me to talk about your team, submit questions and I'll answer them. So submit questions in the comments. We'll answer it on the next podcast. So the Kings right now in the 7th seed, we're only a half game back. As of now, we're a half game back from the Suns. We're a full game back from the Pelicans. The Mavericks are tied with us. So like these seeds from let's see, the 5th seed through the 8th seed, those could all flip-flop tomorrow or throughout the whole season. So we just never know about that. You definitely don't want to play in. Hopefully the Kings can lock up a 5th or 6th seed. The Pelicans are above us, and the Pelicans, for some reason, are the Kings' kryptonite. We cannot beat the Pelicans. I don't think we've beaten them this year. And when we play the Pelicans, they dominate us. Like there's no way of us beating them. So hopefully we don't have to play the Pelicans in the playoffs, because if we do, I don't see the Kings winning that whatsoever. Unfortunately, I got to be honest. But hopefully we get in the 6th seed and face a team like the Mavericks we could beat. It would suck to play the Warriors again because for some reason the Warriors have our number. Yes, we could beat them every once in a while, but they still have our number. The Lakers are a rivalry, of course, for the Kings. It's an old rivalry, but it'll probably be coming back here if we play each other in the playoffs. So I wouldn't mind playing the Suns in the playoffs. I think Kings could win that series. So it could go either way. I know we got plenty of months left, but my focus is going to be shifting towards NBA, shifting towards MLB season. I'm a Giants fan, as you can see, that foam finger right there. And I got like the Buster Posey, the Tim Lincecum, winning the championships over there. I got the Sports Illustrated over there. So yeah, I'm curious what your guys' favorite teams are. Post your favorite NBA team. Post your favorite MLB team. We'll talk about it because I know you guys just don't want to hear me talking about my teams every episode, but that's what I know best, and that's where my passion lies. So yeah, I'll be focusing on Kings in the 7th seed. We might do some watch parties for the Kings this season. Moving on to fan questions, and then at the end of this episode, I'm going to do my top 5 NFL teams for next season. So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming after the fan questions. So we got 2 fan questions here. You guys could submit those on my Instagram or in the comments of YouTube, like I said. So this one's from Matt. It says, do you think the Bills can get over that hump and make it to the Super Bowl? So that's a tough question because the Bills have a solid team. If you look at the Bills, coming from a 49er standpoint, I would not want to play the Bills in the Super Bowl. I would not want to play them in the playoffs. Obviously, we can't play each other in the playoffs because, different AFC, NFC. But I feel like Josh Allen is a Mahomes-type quarterback. I'm not saying he is Mahomes. Lamar Jackson is a Mahomes-type quarterback. They all have that running ability, and they could also throw that ball really well. But can the Bills get over the hump? They get so close every year, but when you have the Chiefs in your way, when you have the Ravens in your way year after year, it's kind of hard. I really don't think they do. I thought this year would be the year for the Bills to make it to the Super Bowl at least, just because they were coming into the playoffs very hot. And the Bills' defense was banged up, but they're playing well. Josh Allen started playing a lot better. The running back, Cooks, was playing a lot better. So, like I said, I don't know if they get over the hump in the next few years. Josh Allen will have to really step up, less turnovers, all that. But next season, the Bills are, I'm trying to see where they're ranked to win the Super Bowl. Let's see. So I'll talk about that fully later. But okay, so Bills are 4th in line to possibly make it to the Super Bowl and win it next year. So that's not bad. They're going to be in good hands, for the next few years, especially as long as Josh Allen is there. They just got to beef up their defense and get some more weapons on offense. I don't know. It's you would think, looking at their team, they have a Super Bowl winning team or a Super Bowl caliber team, but like I said, when you got Lamar Jackson and the Ravens in front of you and the Chiefs you got to go through, and then possibly you're going to have the Chargers are going to be really good. Raiders might turn things around in that division, even though I know the Bills aren't in that division, but there's just a lot of teams you got to worry about, and Texans are getting better, so it's crazy. Moving on to the next question. This is our last question here. This is a NBA related question. Pretty simple. This is from Ryan F. Who's your pick to win the NBA Finals? That's always a tough one. I mean, I'm a Kings fan. I would love for my Kings to win it, but I know I live in reality, and I know we're not going to win the championship this year. It's different. NBA is different. Football, it's like a lot of teams have a chance to win the Super Bowl, but when it comes to NBA, it's like 4 teams have a chance to win the NBA Finals. So right now the Timberwolves are in first place, and you got the Thunder, which it's very interesting standings here. We're not used to seeing Timberwolves, Thunder, and Clippers in the top 3 in the Western Conference. And then you got the Eastern Conference. This is more understandable. Celtics in first. We got the Cavs, and then we got the Bucks. Celtics got a big old hold on first place, so they're pretty set there. So I do think it's going to come down. The final is going to come down to the Celtics either winning it, the Bucks, of course. I don't even know if I see the Timberwolves winning it. Nuggets could go back to back. Yeah, I don't know. Like in the West, I'm trying to see who could actually win it. It'd be nice to see the Thunder win it, but I think they're just still too young, and they would kind of crumble under pressure there towards the end. I think it's going to be an Eastern Conference team winning the finals this year. It's probably going to be between the Celtics or Bucks. That's where all the the veteran experiences, and the Bucks are stacked. Celtics are stacked, but if I had to pick one team to win it out of the Celtics or Bucks, I'm just gonna go with the Bucks on this one. I think with Dame there, it would be nice to see Dame win a championship. Giannis has already won one, obviously, but I think they could get another one there with Dame. So my pick is going to be the Milwaukee Bucks to win the NBA Finals this year. All right, I think that is it for the podcast. Oh no. Never mind. I forgot. I have a top 5 that we're going to go over. And then after the top 5, it'll be over. So I'm going to say my top 5 teams for next NFL season. If you guys agree with me or disagree with me, I want to hear your guys' top 5 in the comments. Post them. I know you're probably going to have a different top 5 than me. So starting, and I don't even know if this is going to be in order, but this is my top 5 teams for next NFL season. First, we got the Ravens. In the top 5, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are not going anywhere. Their defense is solid. I think they're going to stay solid. They are going to be a top 5 team next season. Then we got the Detroit Lions. They played so well all season. Dan Campbell has got their team motivated, and I think they're going to be extra motivated next year because they got so close. They almost beat my 49ers. They almost made it to the Super Bowl. But they couldn't hold the lead in the second half. So I do think the Lions will be in the top 5 next year. Then we got my San Francisco 49ers. I think we will be a top 5 team. We have top 5 talent, that is for sure. The only thing I'm worried about, coming off a Super Bowl, how will the Niners respond? Sometimes it doesn't go so well and we have a bad season. But if we are hungry enough, we are definitely a top 5 team. My next team on the list, the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm only putting them in the top 5 because, 1, Patrick Mahomes, and they won the Super Bowl. But 2, the Chiefs' defense is really good, and it's only going to get better. So as long as Mahomes maybe adds like or the Chiefs add 1 or 2 more weapons on offense for Mahomes to work with, I think the Chiefs will be in good company. They will be a top 5 team next year. So here is my sleeper pick for the top 5. And I know a lot of people will probably not agree with this one. But in the top 5 teams for next season, I have the LA Chargers in the top 5. And yes, it's because of Harbaugh. Harbaugh changes teams. He changes quarterbacks. I mean, him coming in there, working with Herbert will change a lot of things. Herbert was already good. Sometimes I feel he was overrated, but he didn't have the right coaches around him. Now that he has Harbaugh, Herbert's experience, it's going to elevate. His play is going to elevate. The Chargers have great players. They just deal with that injury bug that some teams get cursed with. I think Harbaugh going to the Chargers will get them over the hump, get them to the playoffs. I'm not saying they're going to make it to the Super Bowl maybe next year, but I think the Chargers will be a top 5 team in the NFL. So those are my 5 right there. My honorable mentions, though, are the Green Bay Packers and the Houston Texans. So some people are going to say, oh, you left out the Bengals. You left out the Browns. There's a lot of other teams I left out. You left out the Jaguars. I left out the Dolphins. A lot of people are going to hate that. Oh, the biggest one, I left out the Cowboys. They're not a top 5 team. They choke under pressure. They haven't proved to me that they're a top 5 team. So the Cowboys are not in my top 5. But those are my top 5. My honorable mentions, Packers and Texans. They're only going to get better. So I want to hear your guys' top 5 in the comments. I want to hear what you guys agree with, what you don't agree with. So it'll be fun. And don't forget to post your guys' fan questions. We'll answer it on the next podcast. So that's the end for me here. I hope you enjoyed episode 1, I guess. We'll say episode 1 after the NFL season ended. This will be episode 1. So I appreciate you watching. I'm Steven. And hopefully you guys tune in for all the podcasts throughout the season or throughout the year. And I hope you enjoy it. Let me know how you like it. Like this video, comment, subscribe. It will help a lot. And I'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace out.